Hi, Daniel Martin here, founder of KnowYourMarket.ai. I wanted to share with you a bit of the backstory as to why I started KYM, or Know Your Market, in the first place, and what really drove the idea, because whilst it was the experience of 15 years of generating reports and insights and things like that for customers in our agency, there was actually a step more than that that really got me to this point. In our agency, we've had, as I say, 14 or 15 years of generating reports for clients. And you might say, well, yeah, cool story. Everyone gets reports. That's kind of true, but it's also been a differentiator because in our agency, we found most clients, when they've moved from other businesses to us, actually don't get any reporting from their agency, which I found really bizarre. And then as requirements came through for tenders or quotations, people were asking for reporting as being part of it. And we were really surprised by that because we always answered with, well, reporting is standard, it's what we do. Why would you be asking for that to be additional? And the answer is because many agencies don't do it. So it was part of our foundation from the very beginning. Obviously, over time, it became a specialty that we, as a business, delivered to people. And we would have businesses, large and small, engage us just for reporting. So it wouldn't be to generate new things for them or to generate content or to run ads or any of those things. It would be flat out reporting and, in some circumstances, strategic advisory and analysis as well. In other words, get us the data and then tell us what it means. And that last part is really quite pivotal because you have to have years of experience to be able to understand what this stuff means across different industries and platforms. All sorts of different experiences would feed into your analysis of one company's data set. What we would do is pull the data for those businesses, be it from their own platforms or something else, and generate fundamentally strategic insights that they would then utilize in their own businesses to further their growth. That's what we were paid for. The obvious opportunity came out to systematize that. Let's make that something better. That's been bubbling away in the back of my mind and our team's mind for the last probably 5 or 6 years. We use third-party platforms to generate reports, and sure, they look nice, but it is just flat out reporting. There's no brains behind it. Last year, I was living overseas for a while and I began reading the book by David Ogilvy called Advertising. And it became clear to me that his methodology could apply to marketing as much as it did to advertising. And his comment in the book was, gee, I don't know how these marketers do it. It's so much harder than advertising. And when you understand the fundamental difference, you can see what he means. I thought, why don't we take that concept of consumer research, market research, or just research that feeds into advertising and involve that in the marketing process? Because that really wasn't happening. I then thought, well, this is kind of simple. I used to own a market research company. It was a platform where you could get market research from consumers on demand. It worked quite well and demand was quite high. So why weren't we using that in marketing activities? Why was it only being used in advertising and product development? I thought, why don't we pull these together? The obvious opportunity was pull in market research data and marketing data and combine the two so you can make smarter decisions. See, generally speaking, marketers will use only their owned data. In other words, things like Facebook metrics, Instagram metrics, Google metrics, website traffic, all that kind of stuff. It's owned, it's within their own sphere. It will tell you things about what you've done. It doesn't tell you things generally about what you should do or perhaps what the opportunity is out in the marketplace. By contrast, market research data will tell you those things. It will tell you what you should do out there, but it has no insight at all as to whether your activities are currently working because it's viewing externally. What I wanted to do was bring the two together. Let's view externally and view internally at the same time. It's fundamentally David Ogilvy's principles, but brought into one platform. But that really wasn't possible without the advent of AI. AI allows us to bring all of these data sources together and amalgamate them, understand them, and realistically compute and analyze them in a space of time that one human could never ever achieve. In fact, generally speaking, what we can do with KYM, or Know Your Market, a human could never ever possibly do because there's just simply too much data. By contrast, we can amalgamate market research data, both consumer public domain and owned market research data, so something that a client may already have. Combine that with their marketing data, so their metrics, their Google rankings, their website traffic, all that kind of stuff. Combine that together along with a very, very strict brief, and then say, okay, that's cool. Tell us what it means. Tell us what we should do off the back of this information. And that last step is really pivotal because most of the reporting platforms, if not all of them out there, will tell you what the data summarizes to. It will tell you what the data might mean at a really high level. Oh, gee, you've got all of these URLs that are being called, but this one is being called more than the rest. Therefore, the answer is that one must be the best, or something like that. It'll tell you that. That's cool, but it doesn't give you a proper insight. More than that, it doesn't allow you to make a decision. What I wanted to do was create a platform that allowed marketers, product owners, business owners, and advertisers alike to make decisions. And that's where KYM is incredibly powerful. We can take market research data, we can take marketing data, we can take brand briefs and owned information, compile all of that into one single query or one single execution, as we would call it within our platform, and provide not only analytics and reporting, we can provide actionable decisions, recommendations that can be executed in real time if you want to. So you could say, okay, this is something I can do tomorrow, but you aren't left having to read the reports. So it goes from nebulous thousands and thousands of data points, spreadsheets, connections, whatever it might be, goes from there all the way through to here is the action that you need to undertake. Here is the decision being made for you off the back of analyzing all of this data in line with our agency's 15 years worth of IP and experience. So KYM really is this connection of thousands of data points, AI, and 15 years of IP and experience, combining all of that together to produce reports, or as we like to call them, decision papers that you can act upon next to immediately. This is not something that already exists in the world. There are plenty of reporting platforms out there, and that's great because reporting platforms are necessary. There are plenty of AI platforms out there as well. Heck, we are one of them. But the key that we deliver is connecting thousands of data points that you couldn't otherwise connect, or rather couldn't otherwise compute. Connecting that, pulling out the relevant information, analyzing that at a rate that a human could never possibly do, and then formatting that into decision papers or decision data points that are based off 15 years worth of agency experience. That is the KYM AI value proposition. And the fact that something like that doesn't exist, but our agency has been doing that on a daily basis for 15 years, is the reason why I created Know Your Market. We know this problem exists. We've been living it for 15 years. We know a market for it already exists because people already buy it from us. They just pay a bucket load more than they would if they did it through an artificial intelligence platform. So KYM is solving a real world problem that already exists and people are paying big dollars for it. So we are looking to offer them a solution where they're not paying as much for it. Yes, of course, it's going to be paid for. That's what this thing exists to do, right? It has to be paid for. But the price point is just chalk and cheese. You are having AI do the heavy lifting rather than a human, so people can achieve outcomes that would normally cost them, tens of thousands, if not up into hundreds of thousands of dollars. They can achieve that for the thousands of dollar mark. Like, the scale is just immense. I am, as you can probably tell, super excited about what KYM means. What it can do, when you see this thing in action, you see it work, you just go, whoa, that was cool. The rate at which it pulls out intelligence, because we know how to amalgamate the data, what data to amalgamate, and what questions to ask, then how to format it. We know that. That's how KYM was built and exists. You see it happen, it just makes your head spin. It is so cool. And it's available fundamentally to everybody. Obviously, we are in the development phase at the moment, so it's not available to everyone right now. But when it is, it's not going to be something that only enterprises can use, or only small businesses can use, or only freelancers or whatever. It's going to be available for everyone. You pay how much you need, and then you execute. There's no big retainer. There's no big subscription fee. It's pay per use. You want to use it once? You pay for it once. You want to use it 10 times? You pay for it 10 times, and so on and so forth. This gives people the flexibility to achieve what they want to achieve at a scale that suits their enterprise. Kim is a game changer. I know that because I've lived and breathed this thing for 15 years, and to see the output of the software now really is not only mind-blowing, but also super duper exciting. I'm keen to share this with the world, as you might see by my face to camera right now, and I'm really keen to share it with people that want to come along with us for the journey, because this will be a journey. We will start with a set of requirements or a set of reports. That's already public domain right now. You'll see it on the website. There's 20 reports already available that people can purchase. But we then expand that, and the expansion opportunities are endless. So for those of us that want to come along for the ride, for those of you out there that are actually genuinely interested in what we're doing and want to be part of it, the opportunity exists right now, and it's going to scale. We are just starting with Australia. We've already started prospecting within Australia, and the response has been amazing. People say, really, it does that? Yeah, it does. We're just scratching the surface. This is only Australia. Australia is a tiny market, tiny market compared to the rest of the world. It's something up near 50 billion addressable market space. It's huge. We have such an opportunity here, and I'm so excited to be able to do this. To have people along for the journey is just going to be the icing on the cake. We would love you to join us. And the way that you do that, you jump on the KnowYourMarket.ai website. The hint's in the name, KnowYourMarket.ai. Jump on the website. You'll be able to see all about the platform. Should you be interested in the token, Kim AI, you can click on the Buy Kim AI token. It will take you to the token website, and you can then explore more about not only the business, because the entire business plan is available there for you to read, but also the token, how it works, and how you can get involved there. If you have any questions, I am always here to answer them. So I am not hiding behind some keyboard, as often is the case in this world. I am publicly available. You will find me on LinkedIn, you'll find me on Twitter, you'll find me on, X, you'll find me on Instagram, you'll find me also on Telegram or email, heck, even the mobile phone. I will be doing to video pieces like this quite frequently, so if anyone has any questions, I will answer them straight up to video. So you know I'm telling the truth because you've got to see it in my eyes. I am really excited. I'd love to have you along for the journey. If you've got any questions, fire them through. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you as part of the Kim community.